commissioner would come back with their group and state to the court what their feelings are about that and how that department came in.
Well, I don't know that it's that, it's just it helps. I just believe it opens the communications to where there's 12 departments here, and you've been here a long time, Terry, so you know more about all these departments than I do. You know as well as the time constraints that we're trying to deal with in the road and bridge, and I just feel like a one-on-one with certain department heads, and you sit down there and you can understand, hey, let me know what's going on. And, because I've had some department heads that have talked to me, and that's just a better way of understanding it. But I don't think there's any decisions that you can help them, just like we do now. But if we broke them up, it would be, I think you could focus on it instead of thinking, assuming, I could sit in my office and say, well, Doug handling this, or Sean is, and don't know whether anybody is or not.
My only issue with doing that is nobody likes to be micromanaged. I'm not saying that that will happen. But I think that leaders wasn't up between two of them.
My precinct.
So let's say you do. Say, in my opinion, I think it would open the door for assumptions to be made between said commissioner and said department head. Okay? And that's just my thought. But I mean, I agree 100%. We need communication. So we all work the same boat.
And I think we need to present ourselves that way.
Yep.
Because where anybody can, any department head can call us and talk to us, and just like the health unit, 10 years ago or 15, they were out of compliance with ADA, and they needed grants. And so I actually contacted a person in Abilene that knew maybe they're down there. They had I walked to the health unit one day, just doing this for the county and getting steps, trying to get help here as we all were doing. I saw a generator there, the business I'm in. I knew that generator wouldn't supply that building, and that the lines going to the generator were too small. We came to court with it. The court forced the person that put the generator in to take it away, because the right size generator in, because of the $5,000, probably a lot more than that now, of the medication that we have in the refrigerators. And if power goes out, those have to be maintained. We do what we need to. I've with the Senior Citizen Center. Whenever we were refurbishing that, I went down there and visited with them many times about what they were doing. Some of the things they were doing wasn't right. I'm helping, and I think that's what our department heads want, is whenever they are needing something, that they know that they can call any one of us and they can get that help. And I'm telling you that if I can't get that done, I want to call one of you guys to do it, because I can talk to another person. I can talk to another court member. I can't talk to all of you outside the court, but I can talk to one more of you. And with that, we can take care of it.
In the department, they talk all finance.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I like it that way. And I think truly, if you talk to the department heads, they like it that way. Knowing that you're not there, they're not worried about you're coming to their place of work and going to, one commissioner feel like that they're having to answer to that.
Right.
If we get a department head that we feel like isn't doing their job, keeping the time sheets correct and whatever, that needs to be brought to the commissioner's court and dealt with. If you don't trust one of them, let's get rid of them. Or find out what they're doing. Discipline, whatever, we got lots of ways of doing that, but I'm sorry, I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I see it too.
I just don't think it's necessary.
Like I said, I see the assumptions being made, because if you're one-on-one, you tell the next department head, this is what I think. They agree, okay, it gets brought back to us. And it falls flat. Assumption of micromanagement that bothers me.
Yes.
I mean, we're over all of it, okay? And, when you said it, you have department heads ain't doing the job. That's all on us. And, I've got two issues with it, and that's the two. So,
Heather is watching us when I'm today. It sounded not in and out, but what I'm gathering is they want to split us up among commissioners. I think that's not a good idea. If I'm needing extra assistance or guidance, then I understand when stepping in for that focus. But I think multiple minds together helping us is what's best. Especially when it comes to being on the same page and getting other opinions and concerns.
I appreciate you looking, I just don't think I'm doing that right place. Thank you, Jeremy.
That's what we're all here for.
like I said, I hope all the department heads know you can come to any one of us. You got a phone, call us. We're here for y'all and the taxpayers. It can all be worked out, but we gotta know about it.
Do you want a report from every department
Yes.
to commissioners court?
Those 12 or
Those
38,
12 listed.
12. I-
The elected officials are required by the LGC to turn in a report to Commissioner Court every month.
Mhm.
Any further on this agenda item? Any motions? Okay. Let's go ahead and do line item transfers and budget amendments
Okay. Can we do the payables? too?
and payables.
There's no budget amendments. But the roof money I will put into a budget amendment once we get all of the bills and invoices back for fixing the roofs. First line item transfer is county judge, into bonds and notary sales out of part-time, $723. Second one is county clerk, maintenance agreement, 2,000 out of her, records management maintenance agreements line due to price increases. JP1 dues and membership, $100 out of lease and rentals, and this pay, for dues for Joe. Sheriff's office, other equipment, under 1,000. It's $1,000 out of utilities, and purchase replacement computers. And then precinct 3, non-travel meals, out of road material and construction, $500 clerk line.
And the reason I do that, Doug knows when we're all working on the road together, occasionally I go buy them lunch. So
Me too.
that's the reason for that. I make a motion that you accept the line item perfectly as presented.
All in favor? Count the table.
Accounts payable is $1,704,027.28.
Gonna make a monthly pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Court to discuss and consider items and amounts in each line of upcoming 2024 county budget, including possible votes on individual budget lines and items, and whether amounts or items should be included or excluded from the proposed budget. So let's go back to a couple of things that we previously went over. Emergency management. So I've talked with Eli and Perry and Nathan. I've had conversations with them about how to go forward with emergency management. And Nathan and Perry presented the idea of an employee at the fire department continuing with emergency management, but taking the burden off of Nathan and Perry. They would provide a vehicle, they have an office, they also have the EOC there at their facility, which would be an undertaking in itself if we ever tried to do something different there. Each city and county would pay $50,000 towards emergency management. The vehicle, like I said, would be vehicle and office would be provided. So do you want to speak to this at all?
Also asked another firefighter for the city and the county, that we've never had. So if we could get that, it would be fantastic to get another personnel for big fire days. Our plan is emergency management. When the time comes, when the storms come in, they run the EOC, get it set up, so it's operational each time, and then when we do have a disaster, it's already ready to go. They understand what they're doing. I've actually already had some of our guys talk about wanting to come to that position already. So I think it's a benefit for the city and the county both. My personal opinion. So.
Well, as I said 2 weeks ago, you don't think nothing about it until something happens and you got one.
Right.
I mean, you have Perry and you have Matador, and
rotating,
you got Rotan,
it's coming.
because it seems like every cloud we get tears something up somewhere, some form or fashion. With the city and the county splitting the cost, because if something does happen, this person is not gonna be just doing the county, just doing the city. It is Scurry County and everything in it. And, so I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. Because Nathan and Perry are, you know, we've all had, remember the big fires? Their main deal is that fire out. And they ain't got time to,
You're right. Yeah.
because like I said, you know, if we can share it with the city and benefit another fireman for the county and the city, they've got the facilities, they've got it all down there. I think, like I said, I'm good with it, because like I said, until you don't think about it until you ain't got it.
Right.
And then it's too late, in my opinion. So I don't have a problem with it.
Anybody else thoughts?
All I have is praise for these two guys. They've done an excellent job. Worked with Perry many, many years. He worked 2 or 3 hats all the time. He helped us anytime we needed it. Radios, problems that we were having at any time with those, made suggestions for us. Did a lot of things he didn't have to do. Thank you, Perry. Thank you. I think it's time that we take on part of this ourselves and go forward.
Jeff, Doug, any thoughts?
Well, I think the county and city need to work together, and that just shows that they are.
Yes.
I think it's a good situation for both entities.
So I have a quick question. Since you're talking about leaving it like this, so you are currently working with the city for the interlocal agreement with Eli.
Yes,
Is this going to be included in that, or is this off?
I was about to bring that up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a separate interlocal agreement. Since
And they will
it's got-
still like notify those of us in the county that have to follow certain reports, like I have to do all the financial stuff, or you have to declare
Correct.
and stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, like he always already does, but.
Right. It'll just be spelled out better in an interlocal way. Did you have some?
Yeah, can we work together to get a vehicle, or, it's just,
That would be ideal. Is that, and we discussed that the other day, is a vehicle large enough to be able to pull that?
the updated radio, we used it effectively.
I'm sorry.
We used it effectively yesterday. And I just think it's an asset that's just sitting there once a year, a wasteful asset.
I agree. And that's something that I've wanted to do the last few years is get a vehicle to pull that. I think we can with this agreement, get that
Yeah.
taken care of.
Very strict, to be able to pull it, not Dallas or anything, but
Right.
when he retires, that's probably the vehicle they're gonna get.
Okay.
So, and we utilize it all the time for crime scenes.
Yeah.
When I help be, we take on every major crime scene, so. We're looking at doing some different things, we updated some stuff the other day.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of stuff we wanna do, we made a list, of what we saw on 4th of July this weekend, or this past couple of days, of what we see we could update, do better.
Mhm.
So definitely a plus, and the training we talked about, I'm gonna try to get that lady back, she had grand jury, federal grand jury, so we can get on,
The financial.
financials, so she's gonna kind of come in and do a brief overview for everybody, get a refresher, so.
Okay.
That'll be good for the new person as well.
So, as far as that goes, we would not need a separate emergency management fund, so I would eliminate that from that area and put it towards the emergency management line in 409. Would that be a better? Okay, so we have 50,000 there now, put it to 100,000, are y'all okay with that? As the court,
Because 50 of it was to get supplies and stuff, or to build up,
Right.
renew, refurbish, and other supplies and stuff like that.
It sounds like the vehicle's taken care of.
there'd just be other supplies that's needed that we need throughout. So y'all are all good with that? Then we're gonna revisit, thank y'all, appreciate y'all coming. Working with us on that, and I'll, work on getting an interlocal together, as we go along. The other, next thing that came up is, revisiting, JP's have requested a carport over at the annex. Joe did get some pricing on those. And they range from $16,983.87 to $25,750, and it would be covered parking behind the courthouse annex building on an existing slab. Covering will be approximately 40 feet by 55 feet and provide protection and security for annex employees in inclement weather and a more secure area for employees to access the building.
That area is actually next to where the old Sally Port used to be, behind the building, which was back in the day, the old rec yard. That slab is still there. They would have to drill just 4 piers to anchor it in, so it's not, the slab's not gonna be supporting the weight. The west end of that will tie into that big 10-inch pipe on that side, and we'll have access be a lot more secure for the people that work there. There've been several instances that we have to call the PD or somebody feels uncomfortable going to their vehicle. I mean, I've sat out there in the parking lot a couple of times recently, just making sure everybody gets to their vehicle and leaves, because there's people hanging around the building. Made some of the workers uncomfortable.
One thing I did not mention was that, potentially using some metal we have left over from the jail.
Yes, there is, 28 to 30 sheets of metal, anywhere from 25 to 30 foot long. Most of those that I got the quotes on are aware of that, and they said that could save us anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000, on the cover metal, depending on price of the metal at that time, when they buy the product. So, I mean, that would save us, a considerable amount off of those quotes.
Man,
You gonna build everybody else one?
dude, that's a can of worms.
Mhm.
I'm not sure I wanna open.
I'm not gonna.
I speak to the folks here at the courthouse, and in the wintertime, some of these ladies are afraid to walk out to their cars. And they're walking out in the rain and the snow, and just like you guys are. I mean, we've got to, if we're gonna cover it, we need to cover everybody. And we can't do that. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's the same thing here, it's the same thing at the health unit. Whenever y'all were at Diamond Inn, we had places, to park cars underneath, but I just don't know how we could agree to that unless somebody's got a good reason that everybody else doesn't need the same thing. And how to pay for it. Help me out here.
Well, we have 4 different, including MHMR, we have 5 different departments in that building that could absorb the cost of that between 5 different departments, or at least with.
How are those departments paying for that?
We can adjust the budget somehow. I mean, it's just an option right now.
And I wish I could say yes, but
I mean, so you said y'all got 5 departments. How many departments we got in this courthouse? Same deal. It really is. I mean, we have county court, we have district court, we have treasurer, auditor, county judge's office, 4 commissioner's office, tax office,
district clerk,
district clerk.
district judge.
So, I ain't opening that can of worms.
I mean, I'd love to see us do what VA did in Big Springs. They put up huge canopies and they covered them with solar panels. And they're paying it back that way. But the initial cost to do everyone's out there would be a lot. And county vehicles, I can understand. Personal vehicles, everybody's driving personal for the most part. And I hate it. I don't like it. I know the cars have gotten so expensive that you want to protect them. I wish we had the money to help protect your cars, because I don't like mine being under either. Out in the weather, sun even. But unless you can tell me how a specific plan to show me how that we can do this for everyone. I just don't know how. I wish I did.
Get you a grant.
Sorry?
Get you a grant. See if they'll do it. There's gotta be one out there. I haven't got that far in the process yet. Because it's
I mean-
not, it'll nobody else. And it's a nice thought, but it's not feasible.
Thank you. Next thing that's, I want to revisit is the IT department, a vehicle for them. There's a van that the parks has that is not being used that could be utilized by IT. It would cut, the travel expense from 1,000 to, or leave it at 1,000 and just change it to auto expense. Any thoughts on that? Jeremy is one of those that travels to all different buildings throughout the county and uses his own vehicle. So, any thoughts
But he gets paid to use it,
to use his vehicle?
yes. Or he should, if he's not. It turns his mileage, he does. Everybody else does. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have a vehicle. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
I'm just stating the obvious. It's not that he's doing it for free, unless he chooses not to hand in his mileage, and then he is. And don't do that. It's like not going on vacation when you have vacation. That worries me for anybody. You got vacation, take it. Thank you, Lance.
Any other thoughts on?
Well, it's, I mean, I understand, but Jeremy's not the only one that uses a personal vehicle.
That's true, but he uses his
A lot.
quite a bit.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that.
If he has mileage, we would know.
Right.
But if you give him a vehicle that we already have that doesn't get used, okay, is his mileage going to pay for the repairs on this vehicle?
I do know what my understanding, I don't say, I say I do know, I don't know for sure. My understanding though was when he was hired, they were going to give him a vehicle at that time. And that never, it did occur, but it got taken back or something.
Use it eventually, but then it got moved over to,
No.
I do.
EMS, the bill back over to give it to some other organization.
The contamination, that's what that was. The one that they use for medical cases, which can't have a regular ambulance for.
Right.
That one. But then we had COVID.
Yeah.
And that, I do remember that. It wasn't a specific, like it was that vehicle. He wasn't using it, was parked because we didn't have COVID yet.
Right.
So we didn't have all of that. So that was a discussion that had come up at that time. I do remember that part.
And then obviously with the vehicle, I was told I was going to get a pickup from, I think, the EMS department. So a lot of waiting turned into never turning the time sheets to us, and I was going to get a vehicle. And, I mean, not time sheets, travel knowledge. It never happened. So it's not a matter of me driving my personal vehicle to one location and sitting there all day. It's me using my personal vehicle to go to all the departments on a regular basis. For the time being. Which when it breaks down, I have to wait on parts to come in, and then I'm stuck at home, or wherever it happens to be. So it's like,
What is your monthly mileage?
I don't know that.
He doesn't track it. He doesn't bring me that mileage.
You need to do that. Keep your mileage.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got so we can make an informed decision.
Right, that's what I would like to do is, see what kind of mileage you're actually doing. Before we figure it out. That's my opinion. Because, I mean, Jeremy, you can get your mileage. You not getting it is on you, okay? So,
It was a lot to go
I
to
agree with
the bank and everything every day.
Yeah.
And they turn, and some of them only turn them in once a month, some forget to turn them in for months. But they will eventually turn them in because they're like, hey, I'm using my own car.
Mhm.
And then they remember. So, I mean, we have the mileage forms, we use the current rate of, the mileage rate that is allowed by the state of Texas for reimbursement. So, yeah. Probation uses it all the time, they use it a lot.
I have a question. Is there not a vehicle that's already sitting here for people to go to the post office and to the bank?
No.
No.
What happened to that?
That one was, we haven't had one in several years. That was the one that, I think it was the one that either went to the health unit or the library.
I think it did go to help.
No, that hadn't been there since we haven't had one since I've been here.
It was, David Hayes. And then it, or was it Marion? I don't know. It was,
Yeah,
it was Mary Ann's.
yeah.
And Craig took office. We had one of our freak snowstorms. Like you let turn loosely.
I'll be right back.
He couldn't get out of his driveway, so he had to go buy a brand new four-wheel drive. I don't know what's brand new, but anyway,
that truck went to the library.
that truck
That's
went to the
the
library.
library.
Yes.
So why did
There
it?
was another one that went to the health unit and they traded it in for the one that they currently have because they needed to be able to get into places because of COVID, places where they had to go and do the contact tracing and stuff like that. So that's why they have that bigger red truck.
Well, not to pick on the library, but why did they get a bigger?
That was what Craig
That
said.
was-
I don't know.
that
Y'all
was-
voted, or the court at that time, not
Because they don't travel
necessarily you,
anymore
but the
than he
court
does.
voted for it. Children's.
They've
what was it?
going to the schools, different
And
schools,
three
and
nursing
nursing
homes.
homes,
Program going to the schools.
a lot of different places.
And Craig wanted, and at that point, he brought it to court and, made the motion to transfer it from him to the library, and the court voted for it. So that was a court decision.
Okay, you ready to move on?
Mhm.
All right, we'll go on to maintenance. Sorry, Todd.
I just got a text, their door won't open and close it.
Okay, all right. You can go, well, your budget was down $7,700, total. Does anybody have any? Janitorial supplies went up 600, utilities 1,500, annex utilities up 1,500, maintenance up 500, elevator maintenance $200, and then capital expenses went down 12,000. So total budget went down $7,700.
Thank you.
I'm holding off on any projects that the courthouse here needs to get pointed done. But of course, we're waiting on an answer from
Yes, sir.
the engineering.
Right. Okay.
So I've held off on.
Hopefully he'll get that to us pretty quick.
Yeah.
So we can budget for that if we need to. Okay. Any questions or Todd?
I don't have an issue with it. Anytime you cut your budget, it's good. As long as you don't cut your throat.
Right. Okay, thank you, Todd. All right, so everybody's good with maintenance department? We'll go ahead and do Department of Public Safety. They didn't have anything that they were changing. Any questions about their department?
Just the secretary, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just the salary and her.
Yeah. Boot camp, their auto expense went up $1,000.
Do they even have a boot camp?
I don't know.
How many
I do have a
kids
question
or,
for her.
it varies.
I see the van running
Thank
around,
you.
but there's not ever any kids in it.
Yeah, that changes. It
During the school, there's quite
bunch.
a bit during the school year.
Yeah.
There is a thing, and Si's not here. No, Si's not here. One of the vans, I don't know if it's the supervision van or it's the boot camp van. Their sliding door is basically being held shut with
ratchet strap.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, the only reason I know is because my husband works at Leatherwoods and they took it there for something else and they were like, you really shouldn't be driving that. He said, we don't have it in the budget to fix. We may just maybe get Cy to come, can maybe come back to this one because he's not
Yes.
asked for anything on that, but
We can.
it kind of needs to be able to show.
Kids fall out would not be good.
Takes a long time to unlock and lock a door with a ratchet strap.
Yeah, let's come back to,
We need to talk to Si.
yeah,
I will say Scott is very frugal with his budget. He is,
he is.
does not,
I agree.
Sometimes you can be too frugal.
yes.
Okay. Juvenile probation, we just got them a vehicle not too long ago.
It's been repaired 3 times since then.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
gotten wrecked or hail. It wasn't their
Yeah.
fault. The wreck was somebody turned when they weren't supposed to turn.
Right,
And then hail damage. So,
okay.
but it still runs. That might be why he doesn't want to ask for another one. I don't know.
Okay. Well, their juvenile probation expense went up $7,813. 1963 was audit expense and 5850 was appointed officials.
The audits went up, both the county audit and the probation audit. They didn't have to have an audit last year because they had met the requirements that the state had, so they didn't have to have their separate audit, but until this year. The year before they didn't have to. This year they did.
Okay.
So the audit expense did go up, and what was the other one you said?
Appointed officials 5850.
Oh, yes, because his had been at the 2,800 or 2,400 for a long time. The state finally increased his up a little bit, and so this is our part of his match.
Okay. Any thoughts or questions on juvenile probation?
Y'all have it?
Okay. Supervision went up $1,200, $700 for doctor and medical fees. It's a new line. correct?
Yes, they had somebody in the Orange Crew when they're out working, they got hurt, and there was a discussion between the sheriff and supervision whether or not whose responsibility it was, but he's not actually, the inmate wasn't in the sheriff's care at that time, he was still inmate, he was in there, so he added that line.
Okay.
Was
And-
there ever the discussion of the other?
Not yet. Haven't done that yet, but we need to. $500 for other equipment. That's the total of the $1,200. Any thoughts or concerns there? All right, so that's all for probation. Let's go to the health department. Benefit allowance, $2,400 down. That was an allowance that was there that hadn't been used in years, so.
Yeah, it was when, I think either Trisha or no, he's the guy who did the wells.
Benny
Yeah,
Miracle.
Benny Miracle, it was his.
Right. $50 up in office supplies, $350 up in operating supplies, $6,000 in education and training. Contract labor is up $900, $350 for lab fees, and equipment is down $10,000. So total budget is down $4,750, and the education and training is for everybody to get some training. If I'm remember correctly.
What is your contract labor, Rose?
Our contract
The
labor is
doctor.
for Nick Williams Pharmacy,
Okay,
but we've been also paying Dr. Cooper out of that too.
good.
So, I know that they explained it, that they have to pay him out of that because he's a contract.
Right,
So,
right.
And I want to thank you for being here, Dr. Cooper. We appreciate you
Appreciate it.
coming in and supporting the health department.
That was just to clarify, I wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Any thoughts or concerns on the health department?
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
So at one time, as I understand it, the health department took care of the inmates at the jail, right?
Uh-huh.
So can we not do that again? I mean, that's $150,000 we could say.
It is, and that was, Kyle, do you want to speak to that at all, since you were part of
I
that?
mean, whatever the court wants to do. Yeah, but we'd probably have to hire certainly another staff
Wow.
member.
You
due
got
to the
three, you
inmate
got two
count.
RNs and an LVN already. Or two RNs and one LVN.
Okay, they have to be there all the
Would be
time.
something you take up with the director, but my opinion, we would need another staff.
What it came down to, if you'll help me out with this, and you as well. It was, there's so much, we would be the only health department in the state of Texas who did that because, if some, with the telehealth, the telemed, the psych, yes,
Yes.
all of those, you have to have someone there full-time, just all the time. And 24/7 basically. And we actually ended up saving money by going with the contract and saving, we actually get a lot of that back each year, 25 to 35,000 if I'm not mistaken.
It's usually, it's anywhere from 20 to 30 usually, but yeah.
It was not a good situation that we were in with that whole,
Regulatory wise,
right,
because of the 24/7
right.
requirement.
Well, here's one of my problems is in 2022, we only brought in $22,000
Where?
at the health unit.
Okay.
But our budget was $460,000.
Okay.
16,000 of that was brought in is because of restaurant inspections and septic tanks and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, and from what I've gathered, I don't know that for a fact, but I've been told that we only do vaccines twice a week. Is that right?
No, sir. I've opened it to where we do that every day now. So we do vaccines every day. It's just on the other days, we like for them to have appointments because we're also doing STDs and other things. So we do immunizations every day.
What would you say your average a day is?
Our average a day. Right now, since there's no school and things like that, I think we're getting about 10 a day. But there's no school. Now, I imagine it's gonna pick up this month because school's going back and things like that. But, and then we have the college kids coming in and the foreign college kids coming in, so we're gonna start picking up a whole lot.
So if you average 10 a day, what do you do the rest of the day? I mean,
Well, Dennis does his inspections.
I don't know what he does.
We have reportables that we have to investigate, like rabies, salmonella poison, Hep C. I can get you an extended list of reportables that we have to investigate. I'm constantly doing more trainings for emergency preparedness, for septic myself, and continue to go to school for registered sanitarian in my bachelor's so I can complete that. But I mean, we do a lot. We have a lot of phone calls. We're doing STD tracings. We have a lot going on. TV.
Rose, in the budget meeting, you mentioned that you were gonna write or trying to get a grant to
Yes.
get back the women's
The
health.
women's health. Trying to pick that up. Currently waiting on them. They kind of want us to look into getting electronic medical records because we're like far behind when it comes to that. We're doing everything by hand and paper, but that is a lot of money. So I'm trying to even look into a grant to try to see if somebody can help us with the electronic medical records. A lot going on.
You mentioned the money that they brought in. You concerned that it's not a money-making department?
No, it's not gonna be a money-making department. I was told too that, am I right, that like there's two other counties that utilize the health department here? I think one of them was Big Springs and maybe Carter City.
So we have patients that come from there. Yes, we do.
Okay.
It's not that they're utilizing it, but we do have people that come from those counties because we're the closest health department next to them. The next one will be Nolan County, Sweetwater, and we kind of split that. They don't have any other health department anywhere else. And if they depend on the state to come in and help them like they do, it takes a long time. And then the state only provides certain services like septic and the inspections or the health part of it, but not with immunizations and STD checks and things like that. We only have ours and no one. So
Okay.
Any other questions or thoughts or concerns on the health department?
We are also a nonprofit organization, so we're not a money-making,
You're a government agency. You're not considered a nonprofit because you're a government agency. And in fact, government
well, I mean,
agencies
yeah,
are
but it's
supposed to
not,
be
right,
money
it's a
making.
government, and we
Yes.
don't make a lot
Yes.
of money. We're here for like the indigent patients, Medicaid patients,
Oh, I
underinsured
understand that.
patients.
But we have to be careful. We can't say we're a nonprofit because we're not.
I know the hospital does receive indigent money from the state.
We
Can-
do not.
Can-
There is,
That's something we need to work on. in the
there are
legislature.
bills there were bills being presented that haven't made it anywhere for rural counties for indigent. I do report indigent health from the information of what I have from the welfare department and the numbers that we do get from the health unit. I report that back to the state. There's an indigent healthcare expense form that a report that I have to fill out once a year, and I submit it to the state. Hopefully one day we will get money, but right now we don't get any. And if it's like the indigent defense, it may be 20,000 compared to the 150,000 we spend.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, basically their thought process is you're the county, you should be taking care of your indigent anyway, correct?
Yes. And I do get, when we do the tax, all the paperwork, I have a form that I have to fill out and give to Janet when we do like all the tax stuff. So I do count like the indigent health care for the inmates, because all of that counts towards what we have to provide. I mean, if you're in there, you have the Sandra Bland Act that you have to do everything right away. We currently have a lawsuit pending because the gentleman said we did not, and I can tell you without a doubt in my mind that they did. So, there are certain things that we have to do. There's no ands or buts about it. So it's a fun thing to do. I track it and then add all that up, and we compile that into the worksheet that is help to figure into our tax rate during that process. But it's not small dollar amounts, and that's one of the so-called unfunded mandates that that's one. There's multiple of those. So people get it messed up thinking that those are the only ones because those are the only ones listed on that tax form.
Right.
But there are many other ones. Those are just ones that they let us use to help us with the tax rate. Indigent health care for inmates is one, but not for the rest of the area. Unfortunately, it's not one yet. If we funded the hospital, we would have that. I'm not saying we need to do that. I don't want to do that.
Rose,
Yes.
on your reports that you turn in monthly,
Yes.
I'd like to say, I know you can't give names because of the HIPAA, but I'd like to see a line on there for out of county, like how many people you treat from Mitchell County, different counties.
Okay.
I'd like to keep up with how many people we're treating from other counties.
Okay.
Thank you. That's good.
Her report is very good, though.
Yes, it
I will
is.
say.
It is,
That's a
it
very
is,
informative,
but-
very good report.
What I'm saying, if we're treating that many people
Yes.
from out of county, then we need to go to them counties and they need to start giving us some money.
Like they do for inmates. I don't know if they would willingly do that because they don't send them here. I mean,
Right. It's
They-
people that come on their own.
yeah. I mean,
If
I
they
know
don't
they
have
had.
one, and they can't provide it, and we can.
They did have a doctor, Dr. Ahmed, but he just passed away with cancer last week or something.
Yes. Last week.
Yeah,
Don't
and
hurt
so,
Dr.
and he accepted Medicaid and low income families over there, but
now I don't know if anybody's replacing him.
No, not yet. Nobody will stop once he got sick.
Exactly.
Can you turn anybody away?
I can't turn anybody away. No, I can't. Especially with the grants that we have now, we can't say, no, you can't come here and go there. And then that's also a law. Just, we can't do that.
But somebody with medical insurance can't go,
No, we can turn them
but
away,
do
but we don't.
you have a way to track that to see if they
No, we
do?
don't. If they come in and say that we don't have insurance and we need to utilize these services, we can't do that. And we can't question them because that's the law.
Yeah, that gets into that same HIPAA deal.
Any more thoughts or questions with the health department? Any concerns with their budget?
Yeah, I mean. Unfunded mandates. I'm sorry.
Backdoor property tax. I'm
Well,
changing
I
that.
don't know about that, but the simple fact
That's
is,
exactly what it is.
the simple fact of the matter is, there are certain things we have to do whether we like it or not. And the
Exactly.
counties pay for it.
Yep.
It's no different than the school districts, what they get thrown at them.
That's
You're gonna do this, but you're gonna pay for it. And there's no way to combat it.
But again, that's paid for through property tax.
True. But.
Whenever it's state budgeted,
Mhm.
they actually, the legislature does the budget for Snyder ISD.
Okay. How about the welfare department? Your expenses and drug, where's she at? Oh, there she is. Sorry, Bianca. You're hiding behind your head. $1,000 up in drug expenses, $400 down in maintenance and repairs for a total increase of $600. Any thoughts or concerns with the welfare department?
You better hurry up, Terry, start the drink.
I see him. Thank you, Dr. Cooper.
I was too busy watching Terry run that by me again.
Welfare department, their drug expense went up $1,000 and maintenance and repairs went down $400 for a total increase of $600. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all being here.
Thank you.
Drug expense went up $1,000 for,
Just the cost of everything going up, just to make sure.
Okay.
In case we get to something that's just high dollar, and you see that a lot with our pharmaceuticals, they go up and down.
okay. So you've seen an increase this year in drug
Yes, sir.
costs? Okay. Any thoughts, questions, concerns?
I think you do a great job.
Yeah, I do too. I do
Thank
too.
you.
It's a privilege to be able to serve our county.
'Cause if she don't spend it, I can assure you it will go back.
Yep.
Right.
Or don't need it, let me put it that way.
It will.
Child welfare, there was nothing on that one. Library, education and training is down $311. New operating line, $500, and travel $311. And I don't remember the new operating line.
It's for the square.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay. Any thoughts or concerns or questions about the library budget?
I just got a text that we have no audio.
Uh-oh. Flat tone.
Pure memory leave.
Got your phone today.
Yeah.
Start taking sign language.
There he
Oh,
is.
I
He's
heard Jeremy
coming.
say audio.
He was in my office.
There he is.
Technology.
Did you hear us? Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Back to the library. Any thoughts, questions, concerns about the library?
Did you say how, are they up or down on their overall budget?
Uh,
I know you listed.
yeah, it was up $500. Olivia, anything? Okay. All right, thank you. Senior Center. Operating expenses are up 3,200, utilities up 3,000, maintenance agreements are up 2,000, capital expenses is down 7,000, so a total increase of $1,200.
Just cost of goods.
Cost of goods, yeah, everything is up.
And we added the square, we added
Yeah.
this year a linen service so that the kitchen girls weren't taking towels home and washing them themselves.
And not getting paid for that.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about
We don't have the audio, so.
Any thoughts, questions, concerns, discussion on the Senior Center?
I think Tammy does a fabulous job, and
Yeah.
they're always doing something down there, and it's
Productive.
it is. And
Very
if
much.
you need to get a good meal that don't cost much,
That's
go down there.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Great job.
And yeah, it's I don't
How much do y'all make on May Day?
Pardon?
How much do y'all make on May Day?
how much do we make on May Day? Quilts alone were 24,400, and overall it was about 38,000, I think, after expenses. And we used that money and was able to purchase a home comfort building.
I think each commissioner's court member should get a sample of that, of those quilts.
For $2,000.
A square?
You get a square.
That's what we would get, right?
Barbie size.
We're going to have to look at Terry's budget, make
Yeah.
sure they don't put that in the budget.
Exactly.
Should be done with that list that they have.
Those things are beautiful. I mean, they do such an awesome job. Those ladies do. It's amazing.
They're very dedicated. Our
Yes.
community supports us so well.
Absolutely.
If I wasn't such a miser, I'd just buy one.
Okay, any other thoughts, questions, concerns, discussion on the Senior Center? Here's the next question. That's the end for today. However, we have Lance. Would you be willing to go over yours? Are you ready to go over yours? We can go ahead and
He's
get.
going on vacation, so it'd be all right.
All right, so several things with Lance, or with parts, not Lance. It's not Lance, it's parts. Ground supplies up 4,000, road materials and constructions 186,000, contract labor 6,000, park maintenance 4,893, pool repairs 10,000, capital outlay down 30,000, and equipment under 1,000 down $4,500. Total up is 176,393. Several things that are part of that. The road materials and construction, there's parking lots and roads that need y'all's help.
Chip seal.
So he's requested to get those taken care of next year. Ground supplies, that's just,
That's herbicides, pesticides, fertilizers, stuff just, we can go
Right.
back to what we're doing, but things have really skyrocketed, since the pandemic on those.
is that also the infields that y'all are gonna do?
Materials and, for redoing the leveling the Little League fields.
Yeah. And Little League was
That
gonna pay half of
grass.
that?
Yeah, never got to split costs on those projects.
All right.
I guess the only comment I would have is that the road materials, that's all it is, right? That amount.
Yeah.
And so because of fuel being so expensive and because of the number of employees that we have involved in doing a chip seal and the cost of equipment and maintenance and all of that, I think that we should also budget in your budget, put it into your budget, the cost for the precincts to do that rather than taking it out of our fund.
If we're gonna have to haul rock and
Mhm.
And so we would have to come back after we figure that out.
Right, right.
What that hauling, what that fuel, Either that or it's gonna come right out of our budget.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so here's something else we need to think about along those lines. You have all these other buildings that have parking lots that need to be, that some are starting to fail. Do we want to do the same thing for all of those departments as well? Or,
You can do them all in 1 year.
no, you can't, but I mean, as
At
we
some
start,
point,
we're gonna have to start doing that. We're gonna have to
Start
start
maintaining.
maintaining them. Are they gonna come out of that department's budget?
I think
Or are
it
we
should.
gonna have to make lines for each of those departments to do that?
That's the only way to do it.
I don't see how else you can do it. We're all squeezed too.
Yeah.
And it just inflates our budgets
Mhm.
when we do it because of
It
the high
inflates,
cost of maintenance
Sure.
and the
sure,
high
but it
cost of
inflates
fuel.
theirs as well.
Which is rightly so, because we're doing it for them.
Would it be advantageous to have a separate area where it doesn't come out of their budget, doesn't come out of your budget? It's another line that we're gonna do parking lot and road maintenance. Well,
If you're gonna do that, you need to put that under Fund 29.
yeah. So do we
Do
need,
a Fund
I have no
29,
problem with that.
Like parking lot or whatever,
mhm.
but it needs to be in the fund separate, in there.
So what do you think of that?
No, that sounds great to me.
Because I can
I
just
have
see
no
this
problem.
coming up in the near future for the courthouse, the library, the annex.
I would think that we would at chip seal courthouse.
Well, no.
That's laid down.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ought to change that.
No,
That would be a
It's-
mess.
it's not.
But it'd be the same
Concept.
concept.
Same concept, I agree.
But we won't be doing it though.
No,
It'll have to be.
Sure.
another
it'd
group.
have to
And
be,
pretty much every department has a Fund 29 because we've done renovations, remodeling or whatever. We have a senior
Yes.
center, we have a park, we have a different one. So it's just of adding a line in there, Fund 29, 656, 3304, road materials for
Mhm.
senior center parking lot or,
Right.
something like that. But it's all done under the permanent improvements.
So do we want to move that from the parks to Fund 29 for
that's
that?
a great
I
idea.
would suggest that.
That's a
And
great idea.
And that's all it can be used for.
Oh, Fund 29 is
it's
used for
budgeted
maintenance
for-
on buildings and stuff as well.
Yeah, but if you budget it in
Yeah.
there, then that's what it should be used for.
Yeah.
It's for
I
that,
agree.
like,
You can we not, I don't know, can say parking lots? I mean,
Maintenance.
Roads and parking lots.
Yeah. because Lance, the parking lot at the old barn,
It's,
we're going to work on that
Yeah,
because,
it's failing. Especially after, yesterday. I mean, and that citywide cleanup, it wasn't saying the operator's fault, but it's
Well,
failing and buckling, with turning.
it happens in that park sleepy anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
We may have to zip that one up until you get up the
Yeah,
hill.
Jeff spoke to me about that on some spots. in that
Yeah,
area.
lay it back in.
Plant grass. Well, I mean, that's earlier, unless you wanna go through the expense of putting French drains in, that water's gonna come up somewhere.
Yeah, it is.
So just, I talked to Lance, I asked him to redesign it. Cause we don't need that much parking lot there.
No,
Just kind of,
Those people, they do use them, but they can park on the grass just as well as they can park on asphalt. I'm fine with that, I'll have some ideas and talk to them look over them as well and make sure it's fine, but yeah, I'm fine with that.
so would you do the entire parking lot or just till you get up the hill? And I'm asking.
I'm thinking, from the grass from where the pavilion is,
Mhm.
you'll come about halfway down to where it's got base failures.
Mhm.
You just cut across there till we get out of the base failures,
Mhm.
which I believe there's some parking blocks that are already squared off.
Yeah, around that.
You can go to it and then just come back down to the north just a little bit. You're talking, 50 foot? and just making that grass, and that'll give the water time to come out and go into the ditch, and then it'll go down the road and cross.
True.
But
Okay.
you're not really losing that much parking.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, and on those events, it won't hurt people to park, you know, in that grass where we're losing asphalt, people can still
And that was-
utilize that.
That was one of the reasons they quit using that parking lot with the carnival,
Yeah.
because their equipment was not staying
Wasn't
level
stable.
because it was starting to sink.
Yeah.
So they moved it down by the pool.
That Larry Thompson wanted it down there.
Now, those rigs came in with the carnival equipment, and when they made a turnover there here last week, they looked like a big wave. You know, they turned and it peeled it up bad. So, over there too.
Let's play grass.
So, that's not something that Lance normally does, calculate how much equipment or materials and fuel is needed. Can one of y'all help him out with that?
I got square footage, so I'm good on square footage. I can keep it. So, through the years, I figured a lot of material, but I am definitely not a road, but I can.
Well, I was thinking more.
Understand what, you know, if y'all point me in the right direction on stuff.
I was thinking more the fuel.
Definitely.
How do you calculate that?
I don't at all.
You can't. You really can't.
I just send you a bill.
Yeah.
On 29.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out the 186 and put it to Fund 29 for parts. That'll bring that down and move it to that other. So it's not gonna mess with his budget too much.
But he ain't the only parking lot. He ain't the only.
Right.
He's got parking lots.
Right.
And you can look at our county roads and see what happens. You can look at that parking lot when you don't maintain them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and we'll have those we'll have yours figured out for Fund 29 with the fuel and the materials for the next budget meeting in 2 weeks. I hope. I can't help you with it because I don't know how to calculate the fuel.
I like Jeff's idea. We'll just send him all of our bills for him.
Well, then y'all have to approve all of that here in Commissioner's Court.
I know that comes out of his budget.
Okay, so, and that one, he'll end up being down about 10,000, but I'll have those numbers for you next meeting. That covers everything. I do want to go back to one thing that I've been thinking about. Over at the county attorney's office, when Sheila left, Mike could not promote anybody to that chief deputy position or the whatever title that was. I would like to suggest that we do that as the court. He doesn't have a chief, everybody else does. And the reason is that he can't promote a family member.
Mhm.
So I would suggest that we as the court promote her, whether it's in this coming budget or now or however y'all want to handle that. But we're discussing budget, so.
I had no idea that I hadn't even thought about it since
Right.
Sheila left. I
Yeah.
really hadn't. Yeah, you can't promote a family member.
Right. She's doing the duties,
Yes.
but
Well, she took Sheila's place,
right,
what I understand.
but he cannot promote her.
Well,
So I believe the court should.
I do too.
I don't have a problem with it, but I would make it effective this budget we're working on, if that's agreeable with everybody.
For now, and then
Yeah.
I'd like to put a item on the agenda to discuss that
Okay.
for this year. But you're good with changing it for this budget year? The 24 budget we're working on?
Yeah, because I mean,
I mean, the money was, I'm assuming the money's in the budget.
She
Since-
had a lot of,
Is it not?
didn't Sheila have a lot of
A
time
lot
that
of-
had to be paid?
Yeah, but she's
She's
been
still-
gone longer than a
Yeah.
Oh,
year.
has she?
Yeah.
So Darcy's been budgeted at the
Regular.
regular
Never saw
rate
her.
for this budget. So if you
Right.
wanna change it in this budget, you need to look at doing either a budget amendment or a line item transfer.
All right, I'll look at all of that and have something for you for the next budget or for the next agenda in 2 weeks. So we'll make that change in this budget for next year. You all agreeable to that? All right. That is everything I had for today on budget, unless we want to do Rhonda's. Rhonda's here for extension services. I didn't add everything. Yeah, I did. All right, so $500 up in part-time off. You didn't have any part-time, did you? Or much? You did. You increased it. Office supplies is up $400. I'm sorry. Capital outlay is down $42,500, and last year they had $50,000. They're requesting a box trailer to pull behind when they go. They can fit all the people or items in the vehicle, but they can't fit both. So they would be able to use one vehicle to pull the trailer and have all the people in all the kids in the trailer. No, you're not going to put them in the trailer. I hope in the vehicle and all the stuff
Luggage
that
in
they
the
have to
vehicle.
take with them in
That's
the trailer.
I got some stuff to drink
Might need it. Might need it. So, any thoughts or concerns on extension service budget?
They run a whale of a program.
They
They do.
do. Oh my goodness. Amazing. They just don't have enough commissioners court
How much for the car?
visits.
So it was
You talk about the noon meal.
up to 7,500.
Oh.
No. The vehicle was 50. No, it's down 42.5
Okay.
because of the vehicle. So up to 7,500 for the vehicle.
Nice trailer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, $50,000 trailer. No.
Have you found the trailer?
Sweetwater has trailers, and so I was just kind of waiting to see what happened with the budget before we proceeded.
Like I said, they run a whale of a program and,
They do.
Yeah, you must have been a good meal. What was that, last week?
It was Tuesday.
Must a good meal from them too.
very good.
Oh, the girls can grill too.
It was good.
You know, you didn't have to bring that up.
Just saying.
Yeah, you just could have just let it go.
We might be out of here by noon.
Huh?
We might be out of here by noon. Also, discussion about COLAs for the agents.
Dan. I don't think she's pleased with you.
I can tell.
You need a drink of Terry stuff.
Apparently.
We can discuss that
Give me a.
later.
No, go, continue on. Continue on.
In the past, they have not received COLA. However, with that agreement,
Oh, for the extension aid.
Yeah.
I was like, talking about like all of the color.
right?
That's what I thought.
No,
That's why she dropped her burden.
the agents have not received COLA. However, at some of the schools that I've been to, they've spoken. The extension agent's boss has spoken and said they don't always get raises where they're at. So if we were to get a COLA or give a COLA to our employees, they're requesting that we definitely think about our agents as well when we do those. So, and that was spelled out in our agreement as well to think about them when we do those. So, nothing to decide now, but something to put in your minds to think about.
My request is you adjust the personnel policy additionally.
Do that as well. So that's all I wanted to say about that right now. Anything else on any of the budget? No? Okay. We will now go into executive session pursuant to personnel matters. Section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code, Scurry County Treasurer applications.
How many applications are there?
6.
And you mean one or two, right?
Yes, we're meeting tomorrow.
Okay, if you'll just text me and let me know if you think of